Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Tonight, we're continuing to read Eragon by Christopher Polani. I'm really going to have to triple and double check. I believe that's how it's pronounced, but yeah. So hopefully that's the correct. Hopefully that's the correct pronunciation. So we're going to continue with chapter 1. Yay! And yay! Short intros means people pay attention longer. Get started, Josh. Yeah. And the name of the first chapter is called Discovery. Sorry. Sometimes I'm in a laughing mood, and sometimes that does not pair well with what I'm doing or dramatic reading of it. Anyway, I'll begin. Eragon knelt in a bed of trampled reed grass and scanned the tracks with a practiced eye. The prince told him that the deer had been in the meadow only a half-hour before. Soon they would bed down. His target, a small doe with a pronounced limp in her left forefoot, was still with the herd. He was amazed she had made it so far without a wolf or bear catching her. The sky was clear and dark, and a light. God, I can't read tonight, can I? Let's start again with that paragraph. Better luck. The sky was clear and dark, and a slight breeze stirred the air. A silvery cloud drifted over the mountains that surrounded him, its edges glowing with ruddy light cast from the harvest moon cradled between two peaks. Streams flowed down the mountains from stolid glaciers and glistening snowpacks. A brooding mist crept along the valley's floor, almost thick enough to obscure his feet. Eragon was 15, less than a year from manhood. Dark eyebrows rested above his intense brown eyes. His clothes were worn from work. A hunting knife with a bone handle was sheathed at his belt, and a buckskin tube protected his yew bow from the mist. He carried a wood frame pack. The deer had led him deep into the spine, a range of untamed mountains that extended up and down the land of Algasia. Strange tales and men often came from those mountains, usually boding ill. Despite that, Eragon did not fear the spine. He was the only hunter near Carvajal who dared track game deep into its craggy recesses. It was the third night of the hunt, and his food was half gone. If he did not fell the doe, he would be forced to return home empty-handed. His family needed the meat for the rapidly approaching winter and could not afford to buy it in Carvajal. Eragon stood with quiet assurance in the dusky moonlight, then strode into the forest toward a glen where he was sure the deer would rest. The trees blocked the sky from view and cast feathery shadows on the ground. He looked at the tracks only occasionally. He knew the way. At the glen, he strung his bow with a sure touch, then drew 3 arrows and nocked one, holding the others in his left hand. The moonlight revealed 20 or so motionless lumps where the deer lay in the grass. The doe he wanted was at the edge of the herd, her left foreleg stretched out awkwardly. Eragon slowly crept closer, keeping the bow ready. All his work of the past 3 days had led to this moment. He took a last steadying breath, and an explosion shattered the night. The herd bolted. Eragon lunged forward, racing through the grass as a fiery wind surged past his cheek. He slid to a stop and loosed an arrow at the bounding doe, and missed by a finger's breadth and hissed into darkness. He cursed and spun around, instinctively nocking another arrow. Behind him, where the deer had been, smoldered a large circle of grass and trees. Many of the pines stood bare of their needles. The grass outside the charring was flattened. A wisp of smoke curled in the air, carrying a burnt smell. In the center of the blast radius lay a polished blue stone. Mist snaked across the scorched area and swirled insubstantial tendrils over the stone. Eragon watched for danger for several long minutes, but the only thing that moved was the mist. Cautiously, he released the tension from his bow and moved forward. Moonlight cast him in pale shadow as he stopped before the stone. He nudged it with an arrow, then jumped back. Nothing happened, so he warily picked it up. Nature had never polished a stone as smooth as this one. Its flawless surface was dark blue, except for thin veins of white that spiderwebbed across it. The stone was cool and frictionless under his fingers, like hardened silk. Oval and about a foot long, it weighed several pounds, though it felt lighter than it should have. Eragon found the stone both beautiful and frightening. Where did it come from? Does it have a purpose? Then a more disturbing thought came to him. Was it sent here by accident? Or am I meant to have it? If he had learned anything from the old stories, it was to treat magic and those who used it with great caution. But what should I do with the stone? It would be tiresome to carry, and there was a chance it was dangerous. It might be better to leave it behind. A flicker of indecision ran through him, and he almost dropped it, but something stayed his hand. At the very least, it might pay for some food. He decided with a shrug, tucking the stone into his pack. The glen was too exposed to make a safe camp, so he slipped back into the forest and spread his bedroll beneath the upturned roots of a fallen tree. After a cold dinner of bread and cheese, he wrapped himself in blankets and fell asleep, pondering what had occurred. And that's the end of the first chapter, so yay! And pondering what had happened, a poorly read chapter by someone who isn't an actor and has no right to do dramatic readings. I just, maybe I don't. But anyways, yeah, in this chapter we get our first look at Eragon, who is the title character of this book and one of the main characters of this series as a whole. In the sequel, we get to see from ah, I'm like combining like 20 words at once. In the sequel, it does expand to show another character's point of view too. But for Eragon, Eragon is basically the only character's point of view we see from, minus like things like the shade and the prologue. And so we're introduced to him. We're also introduced to some more world building. We get the name of the world Algasia, which I might be mispronouncing. I swear I've read this series before and I sort of know how it's pronounced, but it might be like some other words from Animorphs where I am like very certain of one pronunciation and I pronounce it like 20 different ways. So I'm sorry about that in advance. Everyone who's listened to my Animorphs dramatic reading, yeah, you know the words I'm talking about, hopefully. But yeah, so Algasia, we get to see the name, what the land's called. We get a little bit of the geography around Eragon. We get to know about the spine, and not just about the spine, we get to, know its reputation. We also know where Eragon lives, or around thereabouts. And then this first chapter does connect perfectly with the prologue, because in the prologue, this elf sent this thing, somewhere. Like, it was so bad that she's like, I'm just going to send it away so the shade doesn't get it. And so Eragon gets whatever the elf felt was so important. And he's like, I don't know fucking know what this shit is. What if it's dangerous? And he's like, okay, well, it might be dangerous, it might kill me, but also might give me food. So, yeah, I'll take a chance tonight. I don't know. Very pragmatic there. Like, I could definitely, no, I wouldn't follow his viewpoint. I was like, ooh, shiny, I'm going to take shiny. But yeah. I mean, eventually I might try selling it because I wouldn't know what it was. But I'm like, hey, it seems valuable, so ta-da. So, one of the questions I have about the end of about this chapter to you, viewers that might have stuck around after the horrible intro, what would you have done if you were in Eragon's position right there? And mind you, I'm saying you would know exactly what Eragon knows. So if you've read the entire series like 3 or 4 times, no, just wash all that information from your mind and go directly from Eragon's shoes. And I think that'd be an interesting question. And also, feel free to comment anything else you noticed about this chapter, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. And remember, no major spoilers in the comment section. I'm hoping that maybe some new people will be brought into the Eragon fandom, Inheritance Cycle fandom. I'm sorry, like this fandom, something where I'm sort of on the edge of, where I enjoy. I'm not fully invested in the fandom itself yet. I don't know. Some series I'm like that. This is one of them. So, yeah. Oh, please comment below and tell me what you call, what people in that enjoy the inheritance cycle call themselves. Oh, nice little bit of info for me and anyone else watching this. Anyways, yeah, so I'm hoping, no major spoilers because maybe someone's new into the fandom and there's some very good twists and turns in the series, which you should know about initial time readings. But if you do want to talk spoilers with me, if there's like something that you just want to talk about, give my opinion on, inform me of, and it has some major spoilers in it. If you're watching on the YouTubes, link in the description to my Tumblr ask box where you can talk spoilers to me. And if you have listened to this video and you've gone this far, first of all, congratulations, you are awesome. 2, if you would like your very own copy of Eragon by Christopher Polini, if you're on the YouTubes, link in the description. If you're on my blog, link down below, and both links will take you where you can buy your very own copy of Eragon. And I can understand if you don't want to buy them from the links provided for various reasons, but if you do buy from those links, 1, you will get your very own copy of Eragon. 2, you will help support the author. 3, you will help support me and my blog. So, think about that. And if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please like this video if you do the same thing Eragon did and just go, I don't really know what this thing is. It might be really dangerous, but it might pay for food, so I'll take the chance. Also, remember to subscribe. I will be reading the entire inheritance cycle, so stay tuned. Also, I am doing a dramatic reading of the entire Animorphs series, so maybe you could stick around and listen to that too while waiting for new videos of the Inheritance Cycle dramatic reading. You know? And if you're watching this on my blog and watching on the desktop version of my blog, please choose the follow by email option. I just don't do dramatic readings. I also do mini reviews. I do full reviews and, a bunch of other stuff. So, check that out. My next full length review, I've just finished reading the book and you, writing, outlining, and editing, I'll think, oh, I can do this quickly. I'll be done within maybe a week at most, and then it's like 2 years, and I go, oh, this again. Anyways, that I'm going to be beginning to outline, write, and edit probably tomorrow, hopefully. So I'll look forward to another review. And the next episode of my Eragon dramatic reading will be on Wednesday, and I'm going to do it in the daytime just because it's a decent sized length and I want to make sure I can get all the energy that I need, and that's easier to do when there's daylight going on. So yeah. So again, the next episode of the Eragon dramatic reading will be Wednesday. So, please come back then. Show me some love and attention. And until next video, goodbye.